Well, welcome to the Get There podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Klein. I am here with the beautiful Mickenna Thomson with Mickenna Thomson Artistry. She is a well-known makeup artist here in Brevard County now. We'll hear a little bit about her story. And we also have Crystal Billins with Glam Culture.
Hello.
And Ultimate All-Stars Brevard.
You got it right.
Cheer, Jim. Yes. So they're going to talk about their businesses today and then actually them teaming up with each other and creating a new business. So I cannot wait to hear all the details. So if whoever wants to start, you want to start, Mickenna? Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Mickenna Thomson. I've been in Brevard for 2 years now.
Yeah, I know. Time's flown.
Maybe a little over. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I've been doing hair and makeup for, I think it's been 14 years now. And I started, ironically, with prosthetics. The beauty industry wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm going to do beauty makeup. Like, I wanted to be in film and work with prosthetics and special effects makeup. So if I can go back and shake myself and say, continue to work hard with this. But, times were different with makeup back then. You had to know someone to be in the industry. So I started doing beauty makeup, and ever since then, my career took off, and I've been here and loving it so much.
You found your calling.
I found my calling.
If you ever see me with my makeup done, it is this girl who has done it. She does a fabulous job. If you've seen any of my Halloween makeup, because we know I love Halloween, it's this girl who has done it. She's magic. So.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm thankful you came into my life, so I love that.
I'm thankful for you.
So you had an established business in Los Angeles,
Yep.
and then you moved here. How was that, like, starting over?
Oh, my gosh. Honestly, it was a blessing. I thought it was going to be a curse starting over, but I had essentially a mobile glam squad there in California because, again, makeup and hair wasn't as big back then as it is now. So I had about 7 girls that worked with me, and we traveled through California, all northern and southern, and sometimes even out of state. And refining business and coming here and doing my own thing, I was able to step back. Crystal and I always talk about this. Like, I was able to step back and redevelop myself and really take time to have personal clientele rather than like big weddings, big events. So coming here has really helped me. And
You got me tearing up already.
It's crazy, realigning yourself with the life that you wanted to
yeah.
create and kind of like starting over with your lessons you learned there. And
Absolutely.
Then bringing them here
Just,
and creating that.
I had a single mom and my daughter was young, and I felt like I've missed so much opportunity with her there, and I wasn't able to. I was pulling myself in so many directions, having my own business, managing other people, and I feel like I missed all that. So coming here, I was able to be like, no, this doesn't work. This is how I want things. And I already took off there. So
it's the beauty of getting older too, though. I think like
Absolutely.
you lessons learned. Like I wish I could have the wisdom I have now, like when you're starting out in life. But I mean, I guess that's not how it goes. But it would be great.
It's all a learning curve.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Crystal. I am so excited. So if you guys do not know Glam Culture, they're in downtown Melbourne. Absolutely the cutest little salon. They do everything. So I'll let you tell a little bit about Glam Culture. And
It's actually kind of funny you said the cutest little salon because it's like a train wreck right now for a renovation.
Oh.
So we'll get
I'm
to that later.
excited
But
to
as
see
soon as you
it.
said that, I'm like, man, the salon is under construction right
It's
now.
not so cute.
Yeah, like it's not so cute right now. So don't think it's cute. Like we'll get to that later on. But I'm Crystal. I am the owner of Glam Culture. I've been doing it for 9 years now. 9. I believe 9. Every April is 1 year. So this will be my 9th year.
Congratulations on 9 years.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I started in a little room in Palm Bay in the back of someone's salon on a dream that I did not want to go backwards to police work because I used to be a cop for 5 years. So I started with just a little room, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this. And I called my sister, which is like the apple of my eye, her and Mickenna now, because I'm like, those two are the two that make me function. But I started with that one room, and I called my sister before I started aesthetic school, and I said, do you think I can do makeup? Like, and she's like, well, you can do anything that you can put your mind to. She said, you are just one of those people who will transition into something and just make it work. Like, she's like, I know you could do it, but I had to get out of police work. It was a very toxic environment. So it was something I had to leave. That was very hard for me to leave because I actually did love the career. Yeah. So I went to school. I literally quit on a Tuesday, started aesthetic school on a Thursday, and I just said, all right, this is just what I'm going to do. At the time I was married, he was in the military, so he did help support me through that transition because that was one of the hardest transitions I've had in my life.
Yeah.
And so I just said, this is just what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to go to aesthetic school and go to YouTube University, kind of learn makeup if I can do it, and just get a bunch of my friends to help me. So I just called on my friends, like while I was in school. I actually went to school for 4 months, and then I went to day and night school because I was going to school in West Palm and living here in Palm Bay.
Wow.
So I went to day and night school. My sister lived in West Palm. I slept on an air mattress in her living room, and she actually got me a job that I worked at 3 days a week at Jazz's. They're closed now, but it was like a really cool jazz club. So I just was a server there. And I worked there 3 nights a week, and then I came home to my ex, and I just kind of did that back and forth. Day and night school I did. I finished in 2 months, but they couldn't give me my certificate yet because I did it too quick.
Yeah.
So it was really funny. I was actually in school teaching the students a lot of stuff.
While you were still in school.
While I was still in school, I was teaching night school sometimes, helping my teacher out. She was amazing. But some days if she wasn't there, I would help teach the kids, which is funny because I knew nothing about aesthetics. I just got it really quick. So started in the one spot. I set everything up, but still didn't have my license. So I had to wait to get my license. Got that, and then it just started rolling every year. I was like, okay, so then I was by myself. Then I moved to downtown Melbourne 7 years ago, and I was still in one room. And then I just had one person come to me and said, I really would like to work with you. And I'm like, work with me? I don't want anybody working with me. Like, this is not even anything that I would even think I could do.
Yeah.
So we were actually sharing the room back and forth. So we shared the room. We did alternate schedules, and then it just worked out. And then after that, more girls started saying, hey, I just want to work with you. Can I just come work with you? And I'm like, wow, I never thought of like having people work with me. Like, and anybody will tell you, I never tell anyone I'm anyone's boss. I work with them.
Yeah.
We work together. Like, and I'll never say that, oh, these people are my employees. They're not. These are people who I respect. A lot of them have more time on than I did. But I just always had the mindset, we work together. We're going to do this together. So they just started working with me, and I was like, oh, okay, this is great. Then I started working with another hair and makeup team because they saw that everybody was requesting me on Facebook and saying, oh, go to Crystal, go to Crystal, go to Crystal. So I started working with them. They taught me a lot. They taught me contracts, how to do the business, how to make this like happen, how to make this work, because I didn't know anything. They just said, hey, we have a bunch of hair and makeup artists and you're really popular. And I don't even know why, because I wasn't even that good yet. But people loved, I guess, my personality.
Yes.
So it just worked itself out. So I learned from them. And once I learned from them how to like get this business going, then I just went out on my own, and that was when everything just blew up. I blew up to, doing 200 weddings a year.
With glam culture.
Yeah, with glam culture. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know I really could do any of this, but I just decided to attach myself to people who were better and did more than me. And that was the smartest thing I could have did because I learned. And then I had a random friend, shout out to Christina, who saw Mickenna in Marshalls. Mm-hmm. And she goes, literally, she saw Mickenna in Marshalls, and she's like, I saw the most beautiful girl, and she came from LA. She does makeup, and you have to meet her. You have to meet her. And I'm just like, all right, give me your number. Like, cool. Like, I'm thinking that she's just going to come and like do makeup for me. I didn't know anything about her yet. And then we connected, and I was like, I have to have this girl in my life. She's going to change the face of my business. She's really going to do this because I'm a small town girl. I'm from Palm Bay, Florida. Mm-hmm. This is where I grew up. I lived in Miami when I went to college in Orlando, but I kid you not, God brought Christina, because Christina worked at Marshall's, brought her, gave her my number. God brought that connection, because I'm telling you, meeting her was really when I was like, oh, I can level up. Yeah. Like, I was cool with where I was at. Like, I was like, oh, this is great. This is Palm Bay, Melbourne. Okay, cool. But I'm telling you, God brought that connection together, because I swear, as soon as we started talking, she's like, ew, what are you doing? Like, you're doing this. This is a hot mess. You did. This is a hot mess. You have to elevate yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't elevate yourself, you're not going to stay relevant in this industry. You have to elevate. You cannot be okay with where you're at. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I was very complacent and comfortable with where I was at. And then all these new people were coming in, and then they are doing more and more. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not doing that. Yeah. And I was just very plateauing where I was at, even though 200 weddings is really not plateauing, but still I could be better. Yeah. And she showed me this could be more, this could be better. So then she started managing for me. And that was when I just opened my ears and opened my heart, because this business was everything to me, and I didn't want to let anyone, in. But
Your baby.
Yeah, it was my baby, but I let her in. And that's when things really started making sense. And I was like, this could be so much more. This could be so great. And, like I said, it was God that brought us together. And Christina working at Marshall's, who met the prettiest girl she ever seen, which she is to me. And it was just a blessing. It really was, because it changed the game of glam culture, and there's just so much more to come.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, just your energy and positivity. You love what you do, and you love the people you're doing it with. And you touched on like a million topics that we could probably sit here for 5 hours.
I know. There's so much. There's so many dimensions.
There is. So one thing is just hearing your personality is, I do think a lot of that comes from you, of you're just like, it doesn't matter what's put in front of me, I'm going to make it work no matter what. And that you're open and receptive for the help, because that's one thing in any business, you cannot do it alone. And it was a lesson I had to learn as well of, I would love just to do it all myself, but there's just a certain point where that's it. You plateau and you can't go further until you let it go and trust other people that they know more than you do, And I know that's hard to do, but
it was very hard to relinquish. She knows. She would have to. She's like, I'm in your emails. Why are you emailing the bride when you know that's my job? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to relinquish control.
I love it.
And she helped me do that, and I'm glad that I believed in the many people who've come into my life over the last 9 years, because they've all helped me get to where I needed to be at that time. So.
Well, Crystal, you remind me a lot of myself when I first started business, and not that you just started business, but like I said, the balance of life, and you have P's 2 years old. Yeah. Aww. So having a young baby and just like being pulled in all those different directions, I'm like, no, you need help, so that way you can focus on your personal life and your health and your baby. And it's like, you do come to a point in your career where it's like, I need to say, okay, I need help. I need
it's just becoming too big for just me. Like I need a team. I need people who have my back that I can trust. Like that won't run my business into the ground, or now our business, but won't run our business into the ground. I have to have those people that I trust. And you were just one of those people. I was like,
that's my girl.
I got you, girl.
I was like,
I love that. So talking about coming together, you two meet. You're helping build glam culture, but I know now we have a new brainchild, so I want to hear a little bit about what you guys have in the works. We're going to talk about that. So
well, let me start how that happened. So I noticed everyone else was elevating their business in the beauty industry, and I was like, this is not enough. This like 800 square foot cute salon that we have is like, I was like, this is just not enough. And then now you can roll with it, because boom, the brain just started going. She did.
Well, I think being in Brevard and seeing the minimal, like, hold on, rewind. Having my own clientele that, like, I've built a friendship with you. I, like, my biggest thing about being a makeup artist is, like, I'm not just a makeup artist, I'm your friend. And that sounds super tacky, but it's true. I feel like building rapport with your clientele and having them trust you and be a part of special events with them. Like, I want to do your hair and makeup, but I also want to attend your wedding now, or go to your baby shower. Like, I love that feeling of that connection, because it never feels like a day of work anyways. So to be able to do hair and makeup on your friend. Drinking mimosas. You can't leave out the champagne. It's a thing. So what I realized is that, especially coming from a place like Los Angeles, is I didn't really have that. I didn't have that type of clientele. Everybody here has been more personable and open for the consistency, where like there I felt like event done. Never really spoke to that person again. So I would say here I was just like, gosh, like these women come in for a glass of wine and they get their hair and makeup done and they don't want to leave. They're having too much fun. They're like, I don't want to go back to real life.
Every single thing. They're like, all right, I'm just going to get dressed here, right?
I look good. I'm having fun. The vibe is great. I said, we need a space. And again, in her 800 little square foot building, it wasn't enough room when we would have multiple people come in, because they're starting to stay and they're starting to hang out. I said, you know, we only have one blow dry bar in Brevard County, and which we only have a small space. Why don't we create something that's a blow dry bar and a social club, where you can come get your hair and makeup done, but you also have the space and the entertainment and the vibe, and that's such aesthetically pleasing place that you don't want to leave. and
We just hang out all day.
just hang out and drink
hang
and
out.
be pretty
Exactly.
and feel
And
your
talk-
best self.
I love it because, I mean, that's what we do. Usually if it's events, I'm with you for a few hours. So I think it's perfect. And I always felt like that was the vibe at Glam Culture. Like I would come in and I'd sit there for 2 hours, but we would be talking about everything. And I know I met these ladies in a time of transition in my life, and it just kind of worked out perfect to spark a
Yeah, it's
friendship.
true.
And so, I mean, you're part of my team. Like that's how I see it, and I feel like it's that for a lot of people, especially just in our industry, in the mortgage industry and real estate industry. But we have a lot of things that we have to do. So, I mean, I think the idea is great.
So yeah, we're officially not just Glam Culture anymore. We're Glam Culture Blow Dry Bar and Social Club. So we have a 3,800 square foot building. Lots to work with. We have a 15 by 16 bar with blowout chairs and wash bowls, and we're actually incorporating 8 studios,
6
studios, and a content podcast room
Ooh,
to rent out. So
love
we just
that.
want the space. We're not just a salon suites. We're not just a blow dry bar. We're not just hair and makeup. Like we're everything.
Yeah.
Everything. We want you to come
One-stop
and be
shop.
able to get everything done. And we also want it to double as a rental space. When people want to rent it out, it can double as a, bubbly bar
Events.
as well for events.
I love
So we
that.
want you to be able to do all of that in one, but well,
Jen
it's funny.
Klein can host her
I
next.
mean, I am.
No,
She'll be
you
the
know I am.
Our first to host a bubbly bar event.
Yeah. So
I love that.
we wanted to just be able. It's funny because even so we all know this is the world of everybody just going on Pinterest and just finding. We can't even find anything like it because I was like, okay, well maybe if we just like Google, then we can kind of like mimic what somebody else is doing in some other state. We literally cannot find it, so we're just coming up off the dome.
You're gonna be the original.
The original,
I love
because
that.
there's blowout bars
there's
everywhere.
blowout bars, but the concept that we're doing is just like
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we're just like,
Okay.
all right.
Because I've been to the other blowout bar. That's very generic, like
It's corporate.
yeah, exactly, and it
absolutely.
feels like that when you
Yeah.
go to it. Where this is going to be, it sounds like more,
just us.
yeah, and
gonna be
personalized.
your lounge.
Exactly, like it sounds
Yeah,
fabulous.
it is. We literally tried to find something similar, so it was easier for us to like navigate how to do this.
Yeah.
We can't find anything, so we're coming off the dome with
I
just
love it. I can't-
whatever we think is gonna work and
So
will
excited.
work. That we're just like, all right, let's do it. Cool. Ooh, that looks fun.
I know you're
It's
going to
a
make
lot.
it work.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work.
a lot
Yeah.
to handle, but it's
All right, so I know just from hearing about it, just even trying to find the space, because
Yeah.
we've been looking for, this has been in the works for
almost a year.
Months.
8 months.
8 months.
yeah, so I want to kind of know about that experience, what you learned, like just as something tangible for someone who might be in the same space. Because I know just even from looking for my own commercial
real estate
properties,
is no joke.
It's its own beast, and it's like a lot to navigate, and you only learn by going through the process. So, what are some pointers that you guys would share? And I know you guys have a lot to.
Go ahead, girl.
Go ahead.
On finding a space to start your business and kind of the pushback
The hardest
you got.
part is don't get attached to any space.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Don't.
Get attached, because there was a lot of tears, anxiety, feeling like I'm not enough.
Yeah.
And that sucked very bad because we just kept getting emotionally attached to like the 19 spaces that we had to deal with. A lot of it was discrimination, period.
What?
Because I am a black woman with sister locks, aka dreads. So people who don't know, like you guys know me, so you know that I'm doing good business out here.
Yeah.
However, if you just look at me and I come in my crunch clothes from the gym or my ultimate clothes, like people are just like, really? So there's been times where I've gone to see buildings, they took me on a tour, and the owner would stand in the parking lot and look me up and down and go, can you afford this?
Yeah.
And I'm
Which
like,
seems so crazy.
I'm
this
like, I
day
haven't
and
even
age.
showed you financials, and
Yeah.
you're asking me in the parking lot? Why would, like, the price is listed. It's not like
Yeah.
this is like anything that I'm just taking a jab at, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. And then, we had people who still to this day I'm waiting on an email back from a building because she wanted to come see what my salon looked like before she even talked to me. And she was like, oh, well, I don't think you're going to be able to afford this. Like, and I'm just like, what? We've had a lady show up unannounced to our salon and question our younger girls, asking how could we do 250 weddings a year? There's only 52 weeks out of the year. 52, right? 52, I think. Yeah, like, whatever, how many days out of the, so she was like, there's no way, that's impossible. Just truly didn't believe me. Like, so I mean, the discrimination that I received trying to make this dream happen was a bunch of people, like I said, who just truly didn't know me. They didn't know, I own 2 businesses, I do great business. They just didn't believe the numbers, the analytics, like, and I'm like, I'm not, call all my brides. Like, I don't know. We do 6 weddings in a day sometimes. Like,
I think makeup and hair is still developing, and a lot of especially a lot of the landlords, they're older, so they're like they don't get.
They're looking at
the
you
world
like,
of hair and makeup. They're like, you don't need that.
Yeah,
who pays for that?
How is there even a market for that? Not knowing what people spend. To, and especially this day in social media and always having to look.
The part, like,
exactly, like to me, it's more than ever. But exactly, if they're older, and let's face it, most people
they're looking at me like, no. So I told Mickenna,
exactly.
I said, she goes, Crystal, you need to start dressing up when you go to these, because they automatically assume you're broke if you show up in gym clothes. You cannot do that. Like, you got to dress up, put makeup on your face. She was like, from now on, this is how we have to go, business ready. And for me, because I'm always the girl next door, she knows I'm working on it. But I'm always the girl next door. I'm just like, why? Like, if I just give you my taxes and my financials, doesn't that shit, like, and she's like, no. She's like, that's not the world
and
commercial that we're living in. Yeah, she was like, you have to present, because the way you're presenting yourself when you're showing up to these just to, go see a space, she said they automatically look at you and just automatically assume this is out of your league and you don't need to be going into a building. That's
which is crazy, because the number one thing that they teach you in sales, I work a sales job, is to not judge a book by its cover, because you never know what
going to just say that.
Exactly, like they don't care about
shirts.
those. Exactly, and the ones who usually are spending money on fancy things are the ones they're just as broke as everybody else, because they're spending their money. They're
spending all their money on stuff they can't afford.
So I never judge a book by its cover.
But it's also true that your first impression is everything at the same time.
True.
So it's, you walk into a space and you look some way, that's probably how you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I go with that adage, because like I said, I'm someone, I get up every single day, I do my hair. I dress up every day just because it's my identity of who I am, but I know everybody isn't me, so I try to have a little bit of understanding.
I'm working on you. I'm working on trying to be like you. Yeah.
I mean, first it was a joke, like, oh gosh, Mickenna in her heels, or Mickenna's always ready, and I'm like, well, this is why. And that's one thing, even when it comes to events, when we do hair and makeup for weddings, it's so important. I told her, like, a lot of the girls on the team would show up in their gym clothes. And, Crystal takes a lot of accountability for that, which I do love,
because I'm the girl next door,
she's so great with constructive criticism. But I said, these brides hire you at a large cost. They want to feel the confidence in your bridal team. Like, I want to walk into a space and they go, you're my hair and makeup artist. I already know. And I trust you, girl. You look so good.
And they do that with her all the time.
Yeah.
They do. They do that with her all the time. They're like, oh my God. Hi.
So really, with glam culture's new growth, that's one of the biggest things that we're like transitioning into is creating a better experience and being more presentable and being that, looking the part. Yeah.
Definitely looking the part.
Yeah, I agree. It's important. So continue talking, because I know even just like finding the places to rent, like you guys ran into a hard time as in exactly not believing in what you were doing, like, and having to prove to yourself. So what do you think is the number one thing that you guys were up against when you were looking for
I
spaces?
actually have a really good point.
Okay, yeah.
So we went into doing things ourselves. We didn't have a real estate agent to back us up.
Yeah.
So we were like communicating and handling everything.
Yeah.
And finally we're like, gosh, this isn't working for us. And I said, and I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we do need to hire a real estate.
We need a representative.
Absolutely.
I'm sick and
I'll tell you, it changed the game for us.
Yeah.
Because again, someone who has the knowledge of the things that we did learn a lot handling it ourselves, what we needed to provide, the expectations. So I think it was a blessing to be hands-on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we hired a real estate agent that we were like, we can breathe, and she's handling and knows how to respond. And that was a really...
Talina and Justin, it was both of them, because they killed it.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. But I'm still aggressive, so I always found the properties.
Yeah.
I did. I'm like, here it is.
But you need their knowledge and know-how to get through that.
I need you to be our representative.
Exactly.
But I'll find the property, because I found the one that we're in.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they really had it listed. But I just was riding by. I saw it, pulled over to the side, took pictures of it. I was like, call now. Thank you.
It.
So yeah, I am.
Take care of us.
And that's why I was doing everything by myself, thinking because every other building that I got into was so easy to get into.
Yeah.
But they're 800 square feet or one room. You know what I'm saying? So it was
this is a new world for you.
Yeah, it's a new world. So this was way out of the league of what I was going into. So I just didn't realize that I needed the representation because I'm aggressive. I'll go I will ride around because that's what I used to do was ride around downtown because we wanted to be in O'Galley originally, but we just could not get in.
Yeah.
So
such limited space.
Limited
in a lot
space
of
for
downtown.
the large spot we needed. If we needed 1,000 square feet, we could have done it, but it didn't work for the larger spaces.
We didn't want to settle for under 3,500.
Yeah, we couldn't.
For what your brainchild is, absolutely. You need that big space.
But representation was like the big thing.
Yeah.
And we just didn't realize it until we were about 7 buildings in. And we were like, we need somebody. So she's like, hey, Talene, is a good realtor. Let's just contact her. So I just told her, look, I am at my wit's end. I'm pulling my hair out right now.
Yeah.
So we need your help. Please. And she's more of a residential than commercial. So she brought on Justin. And then those two together, I could text them at any moment. Phone calls here, there, this, that. Here's the property. Find out about it. I need to know. Find out about this one. There's no sign on it, but it's empty. Let me know.
Yeah. They were great.
It. So it worked because I didn't have to do that stuff myself. And then, like I said, people think I'm crazy anyway. So I needed that. I needed someone to come in and just represent for us.
Yeah.
So we could find what we're looking for.
Yeah. And there's so much legalities to it as well that you don't realize of even looking at the lease. Like some will, it's not just first, last security, that type of stuff. Some it's like, okay, we'll pay your first 2 months for you to move in, but then you have to take on a $50,000 build out. Like there's so many different ways that they do it. And I didn't realize it, and I was like, I need to get into the commercial real estate.
You were like, wow.
They got me. I need to own commercial property. I don't have to do anything, but it's definitely its own beast. So I love that you guys did that, and I do feel like because I know we were with the different properties and it wasn't working out, and then as soon as you hired them,
they
got it done.
Kudos. Just hire a real estate agent if you're looking for any type of property. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
And I speak that all the time. Okay, so I want to kind of talk about just businesses in general, and you kind of being. I always like to have the fear conversation about how do you overcome fear to go to the next step? Because obviously it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But you obviously have the security of this business, and you have 2 businesses plus a small child. How do you get over the fear of just saying, okay, we're going to do this? What mentally do you tell yourself?
I feel like fear is obviously a natural feeling, but I have to remind myself who's in control. It's God, right? Yeah. And I really feel like I put my faith first before fear. I always think of you when it comes to fear because her favorite saying is, I'm one of God's favorites.
God's favorite, man. God's favorite, I'm telling you.
And literally leaning in prayer and not letting fear and faith hold hands and choosing faith. If I'm feeling fear, I'm like, this is divine. I'm feeling this for a reason. Let me lean in and figure out why. And then manifest. And then I call Crystal. And then I manifest what I want. And then I just move forward.
Yeah.
And that was moving here. I really felt like, okay, well, this is happening for a reason, the opportunity. Why is it happening? Mm-hmm. Don't say no because you're take it as a signal, not a stop sign.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Yeah.
Take it as a signal, not a stop sign. I love that saying. And I think that's the biggest thing, and even sitting here just being my 4th time and other professionals that I talk to, is you just can't let it stop you. Feeling fear means you're doing something awesome because you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're going to be doing it. But having it be a signal, not a stop sign of and I think that's what so many people do is it's a stop sign. They can't get past it. Yeah. They can't put their foot on the gas and go. And it's you got to put your foot on the gas and go.
And just whatever you believe in. But in my circumstance, I'm Christian, so I believe in God and just putting all my faith right there. And it helps. It works.
Yeah, it does. And I'm just not scared of anything.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm not. She'll call me and I'm like, girl, we're good.
You two are very much.
She's like, what are we going to do? I'm like, we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm just not scared of it. I don't know why, and I probably should be, but I never have been. I've been just a fearless person my whole life, and I'm just one of those people who just do stuff, i.e. why I became a cop. That was just very random 5 years of my life. And I wasn't, even when I was a cop, I was never scared of anything. I never was like, oh my God, I gotta go down this dark alleyway.
But this is why we balance each other so well. We're literally yin and yang because what she doesn't have, I do. What I don't have, she doesn't. So she's fearless, but I like lead with caution. So she's a little bit impulsive, and I'm like,
let's do it.
I'm like, okay, wait, hold on, let's consider this.
Let's actually write down the numbers, Crystal. I'm like, oh, numbers? Why we gotta write those down? Let's just do it. Yeah,
budget? What's that? I don't know.
I've always been the person who's never scared of anything. Like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what, when I left police work, I had people messaging me, like, making fun of me from law enforcement. You know who you are. And, they were like, "Oh my God,
never forget."
I will never forget. But I did. They were like, "Oh, I can't believe you would leave law enforcement to go do makeup. Like, what are you thinking? Like, oh my God." And I mean, I remember sitting there with those hate messages, like, wow. And I said, you know what? This is just what I'm gonna do. Like, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I was on the news down in West Palm Beach, I started to have people message me, those same people who were like thinking I was crazy. And they were like, oh, wow, you're like really doing this. Like, this is like a real thing. And I'm like, yeah, I told you guys I was going to do this.
Yeah.
I have always.
So you weren't scared at all?
At all. Like, I just was like, I'm leaving.
Do you do you feel it in your heart? Like it's a calling? Like you're like, okay, it's time for me to change.
It's the voice. It is. I hear voices. I'm not crazy. I hear voices, and it's God speaking to me.
We're trying to gain clients, girl.
I know, but I'm telling you,
don't make them run away.
I hear the upper calling all the time, and I mean, it is so loud in my ear because, of course, I'm crazy. I opened up an all-star gym while doing all of this with Mickenna. I'm crazy, but when the voice is so loud that I have to do it, I run towards it.
Yeah.
And when I hear that voice, I just do it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why she said I'm impulsive, because I'm like, the voice is so loud,
Yeah.
I can't even hear the wind
Yeah.
because it is saying, this is what you need to do. This is your calling. This is going to be great. Just go for it. Just do it. So that's literally what it was, is I heard the calling. I had to leave police work. It was a terrible, toxic environment. And I heard God just saying, go, quit. I literally brought my stuff in a box on a Tuesday and said, with the treatment I received at this police department, I will never put on a badge again.
Yeah.
And I'm out. And I literally just left with my letter of resignation and never turned back. And my biggest thing for the first 4 years, because I held my certificate for 4 years, was I can't go back.
Yeah.
I cannot go back. Like, I can, because I have 4 more years before my certificate expires, but you have to make glam culture, what at the time it was Bella Chic by Crystal. You have to make this work, or else you got to go back to that.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay your bills.
So you had also an incentive.
Yeah,
like
I had an incentive.
You were like, heck no, I'm never going back there.
I'm never going back. I'm not doing it. Like, I was so determined, but I had to make this career work, or else I was going to have to go backwards and deal with what I had to deal with for those 5 years.
And that's, to me, is the biggest fear, because I feel like our story is similar, as in I always had like a very secure job. I had a government job, and I didn't want to do it anymore. It was like I looked at people who were just waiting for retirement, and literally that's what they were doing. And I was like, this seems like the worst existence ever.
Yes.
And I made the leap, and I got into the mortgage industry. But even just doing loan originations, because it's a completely commission job, and getting started, and I was like, I remember my husband looking at me, and our savings was like dwindling, and he's like, you got to make this work, or you're going to like need to go get a real job.
Gotta go back.
And that seemed like the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me. And that was like, that's it. Like, I am making this happen.
Yeah.
And then literally that's all it took.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Knowing I wasn't going back to that.
Wasn't happening.
Because I knew, I was like, there has to be a path, but I'm just a fearless person.
Yeah.
When I hear the calling, I go for it, and there's nothing that I'm ever scared of, because I know that I'm God's favorite, and that, I'm passionate about whatever I'm going for. I'm not just going to do something because I don't want to do it, just because, it's something I love.
Yeah.
And, it took a while with makeup to kind of find my path and what I was, really like happy with, because I was doing aesthetics, I was doing facials, I was the jack of all trades and couldn't master anything. And then I finally was able to hone in on what I love to do. And like Mickenna was saying, when you're making those relationships with people, I'm there on the best day of people's lives.
Yeah.
When I was a cop, I was there on the worst day of their life.
Yeah.
So it definitely gave me like some sort of like, path of like my happiness of just being there on people's happy days.
Yeah.
People smiling in front of you, they're talking to you, they're telling you all their business, they don't even tell their best friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's just great. Like, and I'm like, this is just so cool. So once I found my path, like with makeup, that was when I was really like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
This is where I was supposed to be.
So before the makeup, you had no interest in it, or like what?
Nope. I didn't even really wear makeup.
She woke up and she said,
but I'm
gonna be a
artistic.
makeup artist today.
So I knew if I'm artistic, I can learn how to do this.
Yeah.
But I just gotta learn. I need faces. And that's what I said. All my friends gave me their faces to practice on. I appreciate you all because they gave me their time.
Yeah.
They let me screw them up. Some of my friends still do send me photos of my terrible work from 9 years ago.
Yeah.
But they let me practice on them. But no, I was just artistic. I used to paint furniture and repurpose furniture.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can paint furniture, I can paint faces, right?
And I was opposite. I was the girl in high school that did everyone's hair and makeup and making a side hustle of charging like $30 an application.
Yeah.
I love this.
I'm like,
always
I always knew. And but
Yeah.
I went to a private high school, college prep, so they kind of force it down your throat and say 4-year. You know, you're talking about what college you're going to go to your sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just like, okay, well, makeup wasn't a real job either.
Yeah.
So I went to college and I was studying hospitality, hotel management. And I just like by my third year, which sometimes I kick myself in the butt for that. But in my third year, I said, Mom, I want to do makeup. My dad thought he was going to kill me.
Yeah,
like,
course.
excuse me, isn't that just a hobby? That's a fun thing to do. I went to Mud Makeup Designery where I learned prosthetics and also beauty. And I had supportive parents.
Yeah.
Took me out of my third year of college and put me in a really expensive trade school.
Yeah.
And that's something I tell my daughter today, learning from that. You know, I said, you don't necessarily have to go to college. You just need to figure out what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And if I can go back and tell my young self, go believe in yourself and do what you want to do, go to a trade school. Like that would have been it for me. But
I think the sad thing is even just in our culture alone, and I do feel like it's shifting, but like that they have to have their whole life planned out
absolutely.
by 18 when they're going to start college. Like, and I try to tell my kids, I'm like, I have done like 10 other things from when I was 18 years old. Like, and it stinks that they want you to get into debt and have your whole life planned out. Mm-hmm. And for what? Like, you're not. And so I have a different approach with my kids, and I'm sure you do too, just from learning. Because for me, I think I had it both. I actually dropped out of school in the 9th grade and had no clue. I was bartending and waiting tables, and I had my daughter, and I was like, oh, well, I should go to school because, you know, I can't how much to take care of her. And I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in teaching and then a master's degree in public administration. So I mean, that I felt great that I knew I could do that for myself. But any job I've ever had where I've made amazing money had nothing to do with that degree. It's all about hustle. It's all about having the gumption of like, I'm going to make this happen and I'm going to do it this way. So like both of my kids aren't going to college. My son wants to be an electrician, and like I'm not forcing.
Make great money.
Exactly.
You'd be great.
And the path is different for everybody, and I really feel like even as things are changing and AI is coming, and like the white collar worker is going to be gone. Like I do feel like it's trades and services that are going to be what's out there. So
the thing that's hard too is the misconception that like what we do for a living is the easy way out, right? Like I feel like people see it's trendy to be a hair and makeup artist. It's trendy to be a photographer and be your own boss, but they take that path and they don't know how to be a boss. They don't know how to be an entrepreneur. They don't know, you know, so it's like, it's more than just doing hair and makeup.
Yeah.
This is more, we're therapists.
Yeah.
We're therapists, we're
your
business women,
yeah.
we write contracts, we are, I mean, like there's so much more to it than you have to. We do social media, we do everything. And I think that a lot of the time for like, when I say misconception is like, they're like, okay, I'm going to be a makeup artist. And then they get there and they don't know what to do next.
Yeah. It's more than just doing someone's makeup.
Yeah.
It's how do I track my appointments?
Yeah.
What's my follow-up with my clients so they hire me again? Like it's... And
how do you market yourself? How do you network? How do you... I mean, and a lot of the time is you can fake it till you make it as a makeup artist, but you can't teach personality.
Yeah.
And that really comes hand in hand. And like going back to why people love Crystal, it's her full personality. It's like...
terrible makeup. Terrible.
But they'll come back to you because they enjoy your company. That's the truth.
I had a bride book me. Danielle, I'll never forget her. It was right when I started. And she's like, my makeup was terrible. But I liked you a lot. And I knew in a year when my wedding happened, you would be so much better.
Yeah.
And she did. She told me she did not like her makeup, but she loved me.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with her on Facebook. I love her family, the best Italian family ever. Like, they're dope. But she did. She was like, I really didn't like my makeup, but you were just so great. I knew in 11 months when my wedding happened, you would be so much better. So I was fine with it. I'm like, it's great.
I love that. And that's the number one thing they teach you in sales too, is people work with who they like. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I'm actually reading reading How to Friends and Influence
Influence-
People again. I've
haven't
read
read
it
that
like
for a
4
long-
times, but it's been a couple of years, and I'm
I need to
rereading it
revisit
again.
that
And
as
it's
well.
like just the simple things of like just showing genuine interest in people, letting them tell you about themselves. And I
Yes.
feel like even for you girls, like, and as much as you don't know it and how much you impact people, but again, I was going through a transition. You guys would listen to what was happening. I could talk about it, give me advice, like it, and you showed genuine interest in what was happening in my
Yes.
life, which just, I feel like
your
strengthened
life
our
is
bond.
interesting.
And it's the
So-
follow-up. I
It's
think,
pretty interesting. I'm just saying, it's not hard to listen to that.
But the follow-up too, and I think that's the genuine interest is like, I think about after a client walks away, I'm like, I wonder how Susie's personal life is. Like, I think about it. So I just reach out, and I think that gives the in for them to book me again.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh wait, you actually.
Oh my God, she loves me too as much as I love her. And it does. Like, it worked. You want people to be around people who are interested in you and what you do. And that, I mean, it's not rocket science. When
It's not.
we are in a people business, and
Yeah.
that's all you have to do is know how to work with people. And win and influence people. So
Yes.
it works. And you guys do a great job. Okay, so I want to kind of talk about, because we tapped on it a little bit. So what do you think as far as like, you know, Crystal, you saying you blew up, you're here, and in 2 years, like massively, like you met all the right people, like at the perfect time.
That was the blessing.
Yes.
Meeting the right people, for
It-
sure.
It is. And I do feel like that does help a lot. But what do you think for you, and I want to hear from both of you, like as far as marketing, what has worked for you? What can someone do
Lord.
to help their business if they feel like they're not getting out there
Sure.
and getting their name out
You know,
there?
I think I feel like I could speak for the both of us on this specific answer is marketing and advertising is our biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Like we come from a time that referrals, reputation, word of mouth was bigger than reels and hashtags.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's something we struggle with for sure. I mean, I always laugh and say my phone is full, my camera roll is full of befores but not afters. And
Yeah.
it is.
Mine too.
It's hard. So we know that that's not what's working for us. We know that we don't necessarily have the time to take the picture because at the end of the day, what we do is, like I always tell Crystal to tell our girls, like, you have to take a picture of the wedding because that means we just didn't do it if we didn't take the pictures
Yeah.
or the videos and do the content.
Yeah.
I still think like our craft and what we do is what's important, but we need to
Yeah.
start sharing it more.
Yeah.
And we're realizing we need help there, you know? So we'll leave our expertise with the artistry and we're looking for a consistent social media and person to put
And
us
we
out
never
there.
Yeah.
like it. It's like, I don't like this. I'm just going to go
that's-
back to doing it myself.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah. I mean,
It's hard.
it's hard.
Because it's all social media now. You actually can be a bad makeup artist, but do great social media and have a full
And someone
book.
thinks I find that,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
in any industry, of even in like a loan originator, which is what I do. It's like someone who I know is closing 2 loans a month, but yet they are always on
look
social
like-
media.
And they look like they're closing 20.
Exactly. And because
You
it's
know?
all about perception,
Yeah,
for
perception
sure.
is reality.
Exactly. So I do feel like social media, but I don't even feel like social media is, it's so hard because does it really bring you business? I don't know. Because for
It
me,
does.
I am a referral person.
Okay.
So obviously that's how I met Mickenna. And then if anyone who asks me, or I'll post like, oh my God, this is a girl who did my makeup. She's absolutely fabulous. You have to call her immediately. And I can't even tell you once I started posting on social media,
Everybody's
everyone
like,
would be like, who's your makeup girl? Like send me her number.
I gotta have her.
I have to
I gotta have
say,
her.
like, my career here is thanks to you.
No, it's
and
your-
well,
It
no,
is.
thanks
Hard
to you,
work and
Danielle
beautiful work.
Masucci. Like, there's a few people that I've worked with that really put my name out there, and I think that's also why, like, I really love this community with word of mouth and
'Cause y'all
referrals.
go hard for the people y'all
You guys
love.
do, like, you guys
Y'all
go
do.
hard. Brevard goes hard.
I love that.
Brevard goes hard. Yes.
I love that.
But, you know, that is the biggest compliment and the cheapest way to give thanks to your makeup artist and your photographer. It's like, I think it's as simple as, and I see it happen more often than not sometimes. I feel sad, but like my client will post a picture and not give a
Anything
shout out to
about
the
you.
photographer
Yeah.
or the makeup artist who made, besides their
Made it
beautiful
happen.
selves, made it happen.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 seconds to do it, and
Yeah.
it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
I
So
agree. You can-
that's something that we can't control, but
Yeah.
we appreciate.
Yeah.
You know?
And for me, just even the referral, like it's again to like saying like AI taking over, whatever, no matter what, we're in a people business. And that's
Yeah.
why I like referrals, and it's for anything. Like
Yeah.
I made a post the other day, like I needed to get my pillows reupholstered. Like, who do you
Pillows
got?
reupholstered,
And like, that's how I chose who I went with based
The
on
credibility of who
Who
said
do you
what.
go to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to know you've had an experience with someone and it was a great experience
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, if they went to them, like, they got to be good. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So-
that means their pillows are the best. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
Exactly.
you're so highly respected in the community that like I said, your credibility of saying this person's great, people are going to be like,
Yeah.
yes, I believe you.
So I love
She
the
hasn't
order.
let you
So
down.
thank you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I always
Yeah?
get nothing but glowing reviews.
Well,
about
you're
you.
looking so good nowadays with your Dollar Tree makeup
I
that
mean,
you don't even need me
We
anymore.
still need that Dollar Tree
Wait, she did that
makeup
herself?
class.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So, okay, do you want to hear the story?
Yes.
So, if you take a makeup class with Mickenna, you will do your makeup like a pro because
That looks great. I thought you did her at like 6 a.m.
No, and the one day you saw me and you're like, "Who did your makeup?"
Yeah.
I'm
She was
like,
mad. I
"All
was
me,
like,
girl."
Who did you go to?
Swerve.
So Mickenna can teach you how to do your makeup.
Yeah.
But we ended up going out to lunch one day, and she's like, "Your makeup looks so great." And I'm like, "It's all from the Dollar Tree." She
You
literally
go,
rolled her
girl.
eyes.
I love this.
Listen, I'm all about like I don't think like name brand makeup brands are like on point all the time.
They're
I
not.
I have
They're not.
Elf in my kit. I have Dior in my kit. Like I wide range everything
do.
here.
Yeah.
I use what works for me and what I personally like. But like, yeah, you blew me out of the water with that. You know what? This is what we need to do. When I get better at social media, we're going to do a video,
Dollar Tree
Day.
a Dollar Tree trip,
Oh.
I'm
and then I'm
obsessed.
going to do makeup on you with all my Dollar Tree makeup
Okay.
and
A
see
Dollar Tree haul.
Dollar Tree haul.
I like
love
it.
that.
I actually do that, and
Yeah.
because I'm like, what am I going to find today? So I love it.
And
I'm
Mickenna
impressed.
will go to like 5 different ones to make sure she gets what she needs.
Listen, I have a secret Dollar Tree that I literally don't want to get out of. I ended up going to a new gym, and it was right there, and I'm like, oh, I've never seen this Dollar Tree. It's the cleanest, most stocked, most beautiful Dollar Tree.
gonna
you
give
will-
Are
away
you
your secrets?
gatekeeping right
I'm
now?
gatekeeping.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
goodness.
I do
I'm
not
like, okay,
want the
guys,
secret
there's
out.
only about 10 gyms in Brevard, so get to work.
Yeah,
I'm keeping
Do your
it
Get to
all
work.
to myself. All right. So, okay. So tell me a time. I mean, you kind of shared, Crystal, with your pivoting from being a police officer into a whole new world. So maybe, Mickenna, you can, a time where you just wanted to basically like change complete direction of what you were doing and...
You know, it's funny. I might have not an interesting answer because I don't feel like I've ever felt that way.
No, this
like,
has been your life.
This has
Like,
been
this is
my
it.
passion, my
Yeah.
life. I would say, like me again. I've touched on this, like going to college and thinking I might have been a hotel management event coordinator. Like, so that was a pivot, was to go and do my passion.
Yeah.
But I do have like a slight funny story, and I hope this is relevant. When I was moving here, thinking that I'm like, am I gonna have to get a real person job? You know,
You
it's
said
like,
that a couple times.
yeah, am I gonna have to get a real person job? And I have not interviewed or wrote a resume in 12 years.
Yeah.
And I was kind of forced to do that, right? Because I thought I was gonna have to get a real person job. And I remember writing my resume, and I was just like, wow, I look like I can't offer anything.
I'm not worth anything.
No, but seriously, because on a piece of paper, you would look at it and go, and what? You know?
Yeah.
I had my first interview at a cemetery.
Okay.
I don't know what it's on US 1, but
That would be a very interesting job
what the
as a
post
makeup
was,
artist.
which I wouldn't have,
Yeah.
you know, hesitated to not do, but it was actually for event coordinating. That's what the post was for.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I got a little background in this. I'm
do
a great party planner. I don't know if we're really partying for that. It's celebrating life.
Yeah, celebration
This
of
is what I thought. And then going into it, they're like, oh, this is a sales job to sell tombstones and to do this. And I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this interview, I'm going to go on and on with it. So I shared my my 333 theory on sales is a 3-day follow-up, a 3-week reason to come back, and then a 3-month promotion for giving them a discount. So
Yeah.
like that was a 333. And the guy who actually was like the owner of, he just happened to be in. So I was like, oh my God, I'm sweating. Like I'm not only interviewing the manager, but the owner guy is here. And I was like, yeah, my 333. And he's like, wow, you sound like you're really good at sales. I was like, yeah, I can sell shit to a toilet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, that's something you don't say in an interview. And he looked at me and goes, what's your availability? When can you start?
I love
He's
that.
like,
I don't really want to do this, though.
You're hired. He's like, get her set up. Let's get her going. Like the fact that you just said that is great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, did I just get hired as a...
I'm like, oh God, I gotta work with dead people. I can't. Oh my God. Oh no, I didn't really mean that.
So I got home to Cameron's dad, and I was like, I got the job. And he's like, but is that really what you want to do? I said, no, but now I need to think of a way to go back in and tell them no. But I was like,
I can't do this.
But my confidence is up, and I can get a job outside of makeup. And then I just happened to meet, I worked with Darcy Manning for a couple people, and that's where I met Danielle Masucci. I don't know who you exactly heard from.
Janae, remember? I was doing a photo shoot. That's how we
Windship Photography.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally within seconds of that happening, of me thinking I was about to work as a tombstone salesman, within like a week or two, I started doing hair and makeup. And I was like, oh, okay.
I don't have to get.
I'm still in my calling.
Yeah. And I remember when you did my makeup for the first time you came, and Danielle Masucci had actually messaged me like, oh, my best friend's coming to do your makeup. And
my best friend. I love this. She's so cute.
And I swear, just from here, I'm like, you are meeting all the right people. Like for you coming here, like you are
I'm
doing
so blessed.
it.
So thank you for everybody who puts my name out there.
Well, you do a fantastic job, and I can't imagine anyone else doing my makeup. So.
I would be upset if anyone else did your makeup.
She was like,
just kidding, I wouldn't. I would be very supportive.
No, I love that. And talking about like, Brevard's down and they got their people's back. I'm very much like a ride or die kind of person. And I feel like your people are your people. And even this is one thing that I get frustrated in business is, and especially I work in the real estate business, and it's like, oh, well, maybe I'll go work with such and such, or maybe I'll go try such and such, but your team is your most important asset. You want to know how people work, that you can rely on them. And I really feel like, even if you're not happy with someone, like you should take the time, like, hey, last time you did this, like, oh, it was a little too heavy, like whatever it may be, like talk to the person and work with them. Most people are like, I don't think I'm going to go to them again. And to me, if you're my person.
They just give up, man.
Exactly. Like, cause I work with people I like, and I really, again, it's a people business. So I want to help that person. You know what I'm saying? And
do you take it personal when someone goes somewhere else without talking to you
I absolutely take it personal, especially if it's because it's like, wow, I thought like we were good. Like if I'm not doing something for you, why wouldn't you tell me? Like why?
Because that happens with brides all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't take it personal anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm just
because
now,
especially with there's a lot of makeup artists like kind of popping up out here, which I think is great. But like I'll see a client that used me quite often, and then they are being posted on another makeup artist's page.
I think it depends on the relationship though, because just like you just said, I would be so upset because we're friends and you're my people. So I think it's the level of working with each other.
Absolutely.
You know, if it's someone that I've only done something with one or two times, I don't take it personal when that person is. But if it's someone who's like my A1 since day one, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why?
No, based on the relationship, absolutely. Yeah. But I'd never get like offended.
I'm just like,
unless it was you.
I always say, go with that mess. You'll be back with the best.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
You'll be back.
It's true though.
Once you know, you know. I love it. Well, I'm super excited for the future of glam culture. Blow Dry Bar and Social Club. I can't believe I remember that.
It's a little wordy, but we feel like we have to put what we do out there.
Yeah, you need to know what time it is.
Just like, because this is obviously, we have not announced it to anybody. So
what are we expecting? What do we have a timeline of like opening? Like what's the goal? Because I know things don't always go.
I'm the build out queen over here.
I mean, we know how pulling permits, but October, November.
Soon.
Yeah. Yep. And we have 6 salon suites. So if someone does aesthetics or I mean whatever, you don't even have to be salon based.
You guys do what? Eyelashes, eyebrows,
right? But we're having salon suites there, so we can lease them out.
Oh, okay.
We're leasing out space.
Yeah, so it'd be your individual space and whatever,
So we have, and we want it. The thing about this is like, again, we don't want it to be. There's a lot of salon suites happening out here, and it's becoming massive. We're not in competition with that because we're not 30 there, and what we want is like, I mean, I would love to even have it be like no competitors. Like there's once you're a lash tech there, you're the only lash tech there. Once you're waxer, whatever the case may be, like it would be nice to fill the suites to where there's no competing.
Yeah,
I love that.
But whatever they
and then we want to provide social media for the lease, and that's something that a lot of people don't do. So we'll have regular social media. We'll have Danae with Winship coming on to the team. So she'll do monthly photos, pictures.
Podcast.
We have a
social
podcast.
media is a full-time job
It
on
is.
its own.
It's a full-time
So
job.
it's like, well, let's let them do what they're good at, and let's help them and, feel the loyalty of being there. And then we're going to have a podcast studio to rent out as well.
I love that.
So it's just it's a little more than salon sleep. It's a little more than a blow dry bar, a little more than,
a social club.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
well,
we
I will
wanna be
be
able to
there
support
probably
it.
weekly.
Yeah, I can't wait to
That's
see
the
you
expectation.
weekly.
We want people in there weekly.
We need
and
weekly or
Yeah, we'll
monthly
have blow dry.
memberships.
We'll have blow dry memberships.
Perfect.
Again, you can have the space to do blowouts and bubblies where you come with your girlfriends and get a night of having drinks and doing blow dries, getting your makeup done.
I love it. Okay, beyond the grand opening, I will be the first party that gets thrown there.
We'll give that to you.
Just
Yes, ma'am.
putting that
Scouts
out there.
honor on that one.
Yes, but we
We'll
want to
give
be
that
all
to you.
inclusive. We're working on Dominican blowouts. We're working on ethnic blowouts. Like, we're trying to do it all because most of the blowout bars don't.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to offer that experience
Yeah.
to every ethnicity so that everyone's hair looks good. So
Be a
it's
true
just different.
ladies social
Yeah.
club.
And no
I
one likes
love
to
it.
wash their hair. Let's be real.
I do
Coming
not.
and getting it done once a
Listen.
week, it's well worth it.
Exactly. That's all I wash my hair anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'll just let you do it.
I love this.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm super excited. I know you
you.
ladies, no matter what you do, it's going to be fantastic. So thank you for coming
Thanks
today.
for
I'm
having
super
us.
excited. I
Thank
think
you.
it was.
Thank you.
We're honored that you thought of us.
No, I
Yeah,
love you
seriously,
girls.
thank you.
And I believe in you. And it was so cute because when you guys said that, like, oh my God, we're honored you want to talk to us. Like, you guys have our amazing stories of success, how it's done. I mean, you own super successful businesses, so I want to support you any way I can, and I love
Thank
you.
you.
love
we
you.
appreciate the support. Thank
All
you.
right.
you.
I love it.